Hello and welcome to this edition of Take 5 with Tony. It's early June of 2015 and today I'd like to talk about trickle-down economics. You may have heard of this, trickle-down economics. It's been around for a while, this theory, but it was made especially prominent and powerful during the administration of Ronald Reagan, and it's pretty much been with us ever since. Now here's the basic idea. There's a small group of people at the top, the folks who own the very large businesses, and the people who invest in those big corporations. And those people have the wealth that creates prosperity. Now when taxes are high on them, corporate taxes or personal income taxes, they tend to hold on to their money. They put it away. They don't invest it. But according to Trickle-down, when we lower their taxes and free them up with some regulatory relief, what they do is they invest their resources in plant expansion, in new technology and innovation, in wealth creation. And then that wealth they create trickles down to the rest of us in the form of jobs and prosperity. Here's the thing about trickle down. It doesn't. Trickle down, in fact, has never worked. And we have proof of this. We know it without a shadow of a doubt. We can look, for instance, at the last 60 years in the United States. And what we see over the last 60 years is that back in the 1950s and 1960s, corporate income tax rates were at 50%, 50. And personal income tax rates on the highest earning folks, the richest people, were between 70 and 90%. Now, since 2000, corporate income tax rates have been around 35%, not 50, but 35. And personal income tax rates on the wealthiest Americans have been between 36 and 39%, compared to 70 to 90% earlier. Now, of course, you'd expect that with all those years of lowering corporate and personal income taxes on those folks at the top, what we would have seen was an explosion of growth and prosperity, right? Not exactly. In fact, the growth rate for our economy was more than double back in the 50s and 60s what it's been since 2000. More than double when tax rates were far higher on both corporations and wealthy individuals. And in fact, if you look at that entire period from 1950 right through to the present, that pattern holds. That there is really no relationship between lowering the tax rates on the wealthy and creating economic growth. Now, it's not just economic growth, but it's who gets that economic growth. And that's the second problem with trickle-down theory. We have created more wealth over the years, but it is concentrated among the very top. In fact, since the rebound from the Great Recession of 2007 and 2008, more than 90% of all new income, more than 90%, has gone to the top 1% of wage earners, the richest 1%. Now, what does that look like? That means that if we had a room full of 100 people, and there were doctors and lawyers, there were engineers, farmers, plumbers, coal miners, school teachers, and social workers, and one Wall Street investment banker in that room of 100 people. That means that of all the new wealth and income that's been created over the last 6 years, that one person in the room would have gotten 90 cents of that dollar. And everybody else, the other 99, would be fighting over a dime. Now, wealth hasn't been created by trickle-down theories to any significant degree. And the wealth that has been created has been stuck at the top because of the policies that we've pursued over the last 30 years. Trickle-down doesn't. And so for the balance of this series, we'll be talking a lot about an alternative that I call building the bottom-up economy. Hope to see you next time. Thanks.